So we're out on my back deck. I'm having, how many cigars is this today?
4.
Number 4. I don't recommend it. Oh, it's good. But the main reason is I'm trying to smoke them down because I have 25, I have 18 in my humidor right now, right? Was that what I counted?
17 now.
17 now. I have 25 coming probably Monday. And we're sitting out here. We start hearing this this noise. What did you say it sounded? What did you think it sounded like?
I'm not sure. I thought maybe an owl, because I know loons are usually closer to water, but it definitely ain't no owl that I've heard.
Here it is again. I don't know if it's picking up or not on the mic, but it's got a loon-like sound to it. But I would agree with you. I wouldn't think a loon would be out here. So we're hoping it'll take off again here soon. Me and you have a bit of a history with. There he is again. I don't know what that is. That ain't what we just heard. Me and you have a bit of a history of hearing crazy things at night, don't we?
A little bit, yeah.
Remember that night that we heard that bobcat?
Mm-hmm.
There was one. We were out in the graveyard one night, hanging out. I don't know, we were smoking what we was doing.
It was screaming.
Oh yeah. Well, that's a wild sound, whatever it is. That bobcat or whatever it was, boy, he was doing some screaming at the neighbor's dogs, wasn't
he? He's getting with it.
Sound like a demon.
Yeah, it did. Moving all over that hill.
Oh yeah, it was. Now, we also had an experience. How long ago was that we was at Pleasant Creek? We got there smoking cigars.
Month and a half, maybe.
Yeah. I'd say you're about right. We were there. We had a couple cigars, which we are apt to do. My wife was working night shift. Baby hadn't come along yet. And me and John sometimes like to get in the truck and we drive basically into the back roads, right? And we stop somewhere, usually it's by the lake. Sometimes it's midnight. And we just start BSing. So, this night...
we got a little bit more BS than we intended.
How did it start? Like, what happened? How did it start that night?
Oh, we heard something up in the woods milling around. We heard it. It started over to our left and just started meandering across through the woods.
We initially thought it was a deer, right?
Yeah, we thought it was a deer walking. I ended up barking at it, and
which is what that's what West Virginians do when you see a deer. You bark at it.
And it didn't take off or anything. It just kept right on walking. So, of course, we thought that was weird, but then we didn't hear it for about 20 minutes.
I thought it went on past. I thought it was a deer that was trying to get to the water, and it just, went on past. Whatever that is still tearing our jacket over there.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was just trying to get to the water and went on past us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, we stood there and talked for another what, like
20 minutes.
And then it started. We didn't hear it before that, right? We didn't hear it again until.
We didn't hear it until it was right up beside of you.
All of a sudden, we heard the rustling in the woods again. We're sitting on the tailgate of my truck, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sitting on the tailgate of my truck. We're smoking. We're talking louder than we are right now in this recording. And it was night. It was probably, what time was it, roughly? Remember?
It was pretty late, as I can recall, because it was pitch black.
I'd say it was at least midnight. At least midnight. We're sitting on the tailgate of the truck, and I hear this rustling again beside me. And of course, me and you, we always have firearms of some sort, because we live in West Virginia, and we believe that it's a sin not to. And I hear this rustling beside me, and I kind of turned to my right. It was probably 10 feet away from me.
It was less than that.
Say it again.
It was less than that.
Less than 10 feet?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I turn, and pardon me, I had to get the cigar rolling again. I turn to the right. I don't see anything. I grab my gun. I run around the side of the truck away from the noise because I'm figuring put the truck between me and the noise, pull the gun. It's pitch dark. We're down by a body of water. There's nobody else around, right? I mean, we had a camper or something like that was close to us.
Yeah, but that was several hundred yards up the road.
Other than that, everything was good and dark. And I jump around the side of the truck. I realize I don't have a flashlight. And the thing that spooked me was I realized that when I ran around the side of the truck, me and you started making noise, right? We was doing some screaming.
Oh, he's just squalling and
We was
hollering.
like, whoa, 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 whoa. It was freaking nuts. So anyways, run around there, I realized whatever this is has not run. A deer would have jumped. What if that is in the woods just keeping it up? But it ain't making that same noise we heard just a little bit ago.
No, it was making that in between. It's like higher pitched ones, but
People's going to think we're liars.
some kind of a cool sound bird.
Yes, it is. I run around the side of the truck, realize we ain't got a light, and a deer would have jumped and run.
Mm-hmm.
Would have, just hauled out, hauled it out of there. This thing didn't do that. And didn't I tell you, I was like, which really, I guess if I was the ballsy one, I should have run around and got the flashlight. I was like, John, go get the flashlight.
Get me the flashlight.
Well, you, for once in your life, you were born with a gun on your hip. You didn't have a gun, right?
No. The only time, and I couldn't tell you how many years I didn't have a gun with me.
Right. You didn't have a gun, but you ran back and you got the flashlight.
Usually the gun carrying's got a flashlight on it.
Right. We shined that light. There was underbrush, but it was short enough underbrush that a deer's head would have stuck out on the top of that. No deer's head stuck out on the top of this. And after we did some screaming, like little girls, the thing did move a little ways up in that brush, right?
Mm-hmm.
It moved a little ways up in there. And but it never completely ran off. Not until we left.
It just walked.
Yeah. Just
Yeah,
like it wasn't. It wasn't scared at all.
No, it didn't run. Soon as you jumped and turned to the right and jumped off the tailgate, I looked over past you and I could make out the silhouette of a mountain lion.
That's what I was getting to. That was the kicker for me because I didn't see this.
Because you was too busy making tracks around the truck.
I was too busy wiping my butt, basically. Wiping the cheeks of my... because it was... But you... And I remember... And I asked you this after the fact. And we even heard this thing up in the woods after we were driving away.
Mm-hmm.
And so I asked you what you saw, and you said that you saw a cat as big as my dog, right? Which I have a German Shepherd.
Yeah, it was at least as big as a German Shepherd. Had that great big old long tail that mountain lions are known to have. And it was a cat. You know, the short nose and those pointy ears like a mountain lion. We ended up finding its tracks over there. We saw a track, and they were about as big as my fist.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of a track. It was just more like a depression. Like you could, it wasn't like a well.
The ground was really, really soft over there.
Yeah.
And it was so soft it didn't really hold a good track because there was leaves laying on it and stuff. But you could distinctly make out 4 toes, and the whole track was as big around as my fist.
So we pretty much just saw a depression.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could tell where something had stepped, but we couldn't tell an actual track.
Mm-hmm.
And it was too big to be a dog, too big to be a deer, and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember asking you, That's when it freaked me out. I was like, what? And you're like, I saw it. I was like, how big was it? You said it was at least as big as Seneca. Seneca's a German Shepherd.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big dog. And, from what I understand, bobcats don't get that big. Well, here's the thing. Didn't you say that when you saw it, it was like crouched down like a cat that you just scared?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, you had just jumped and come off the tailgate, and it wasn't like I got a good look on him because I was burning rubber getting around the truck too. And it was pitch black, but I could tell it was brown. There was enough light I could tell it was brown, and I distinctly saw that mountain.
There was something on the tailgate that was brown too, but it was
Maybe it was your pile of turds I saw. Big old 4-foot long turd.
Dude, the thing we were both smoking cigars.
And talking.
We were talking about, okay, we've started talking a little louder since we started this recording. We were talking this loud.
Mm-hmm.
Something that didn't have us ill intent would have just scooted, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so this thing was coming up less than 10 feet away from us. I mean, in my mind, okay, is it stalking us? What's it doing?
Yeah, I don't know.
And this is over in the same area when Mom was a kid or a teenager. She saw one when she was a teenager. This would have been in the 80s. They heard another one scream above them one night. Because Pap may or may not have been harvesting meat.
That was required for his family.
Yeah, that was required for his family. It may have been out of season. We can say that because if they want to prosecute Pap, they're going to have to dig him up.
Yeah, they're going to have to go to the graveyard and find him.
But the game wardens around here, or the DNR, the West Virginia DNR in general, from what I understand, they will pretty much say that there's no big cats, right?
They used to say that, but they just recently admitted that there's...
Well, I've heard that, but I don't know that I've seen it officially. I don't know if it was just a Facebook story or what, but I do know there's been some rumors that they've admitted.
But people seen mountain lions in West Virginia for years.
Yeah. I've heard about them up around Valley Head, where Dad was from.
Mm-hmm.
They've been like in the 80s or 90s. Mom seen those in the 80s. And from your visual account, we saw one sneaking up on us the other night.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say this, I didn't see it, but its behavior was not a deer.
No.
A deer's afraid of us. This thing was not afraid of us in the slightest, right?
No, because it didn't run whenever we crapped our pants.
Yeah. So to recap, the underbrush was what, about waist high?
Yeah.
Roughly, maybe a little higher. A deer stands much taller than that.
Mm-hmm.
At least his head does. There was no head, and we shined that brush, man. I have a Bushnell flashlight that's over 2,000 lumens. It's about as bright as your car headlight. Nothing. And we could hear it up there. We didn't shine no eyes. We didn't shine nothing. Wasn't a deer. It didn't behave like a deer. It didn't run. It didn't act like it was scared. I mean, it just kind of backed off a little bit. It never left us while we were there. In fact, as we were driving away, I had the window down. We could hear it walking around in the brush as we were driving off. The thing was freaking, as far as I'm concerned, freaking mountain lion. West Virginia DNR. Your stance is stupid. They were trying to eat me and my brother.
Yeah, I crapped on a mountain lion.
Somewhere there's a mountain lion that died from poisoning. Mm-hmm. Because we pretty much hockeyed in his mouth. Living in West Virginia, man, you never know what you're going to see.
Greatest state in the union.
It is the greatest state. I've lived here all my life. I have no desire to live anywhere else.
Heck no.